It's Jonathan here, DJ Puff the Third. We're at the Allotment, the Addiscombe, Woodside and Shirley Allotments, and I pretty much grew up here, was born here, or born into, wind bottles. Basically, we're in the Chaffinch Brook, so just here we have the Chaffinch Brook. We've had a prolonged period we've not really had any rain. In the UK it's been about 5 months with F-all rain. Basically, we had 2 big storms within 3 days of each other. One of them was a supercell over London, and one miserable day. Alright, yeah. And basically I'm in the Chaffinch Brook. This is pretty much the only section that you can see above ground of this river or brook, and it starts at Poppy Lane just over there, and it passes through the Addiscombe, Woodside and Shirley Allotments. It carries on down past the clubhouse to the bottom of Glenthorne Avenue and then disappears. So this is basically the only section of the Chaffinch Brook that is above the surface, until you probably get to Allotments near Elmer's End, and by then other streams and brooks have joined up with it, so you can't really tell if it is in fact the Chaffinch. And then Dorset Road, not Dorset Road, there's some other allotments, the south side of the railway, around Elmer's End Clock House. The Chaffinch will come back to the surface, but to be honest, this is one of the very few stretches you can see. Anyway, I'm going to get some water from here because I'm not at the partition, I'm not at Keston, so I'm going to try and get some here. Of course, we've had a lot of drought, so or lack of rain, there's not been any road runoff. If this is in fact clean, and may prove that there's no sewage either, it might all just be road runoff and storm drains that overflow into it. So if we test it now and have a look, it might be clean. If I can get near it. I think it's all about foot placement in this case. But when I was a child and a kid growing up in the 80s, very early 90s, I literally walked this brook time and time and time again, basically. Right from Poppy Lane to Glenthorne Avenue. Look at this. Apart from a leaf, that is very good. Bearing in mind we've not had any rain and this is just the spring. Would I drink it? No, I don't think I would. I don't know if I could trust it as much as the partition and Keston, to be honest. I definitely wouldn't risk it. It probably is. It's cleanish, but no. Let's go for another one. I've only got the 4 bottles, so. And you could tell years ago that this water was clean, until maybe they did divert storm drains and road runoff into it. It's not impossible. I've not noticed it for a few years, but you used to get caddisfly larvae in the Chaffinch Brook here when I used to walk up and down. To me, that looks clean. It really does look okay. But no, I wouldn't drink it, I don't think. Caddisfly larvae were an indicator of clean water, basically. And they were literally building their own homes. They pick up tiny little bits of gravel and they'd make a home out of it, basically. This will only go for tomato plants or cacti, probably tomato plants. Also, if you've got a copy of the Book of Addiscombe, the Book of Addiscombe created by Steve Collins and Anne Bridge, I wrote a segment in the Book of Addiscombe about the Chaffinch Brook here at the AWS Allotments. It wasn't so much a historical thing, it was more of a joking account and maybe a little bit of tragedy, but it was quite humorous. I wanted to do the geological segment as well, but Paul Sowen got that apparently, because I was big into geology. But yeah, if you've got the a copy of the Book of Addiscombe, I'm in there. There's a picture of me when I was about 2 or 3 years old. It's a black and white picture, but I had red rubber wellies on and I had blonde hair at the time, because when you're young you have blonde hair, and there's me with a watering can pointing somewhere. Also, there's a photo of my father in the Book of Addiscombe, and he was a teenager, so this must have been in the 50s, probably the late 50s, and he was working in Woods, the butchers in Addiscombe, Jack Woods, the butchers in Addiscombe in the 50s, and he could tell just by looking at the photograph that he said, oh, it was a Friday morning about 10:30 and we were making sausages. The funny thing is, I was working on this segment for the Book of Addiscombe about the Chaffinch Brook with Steve Collins. I was literally in Steve Collins' flat with Barbara Edwards and Anne Bridge, and I wrote this out, and he took one look at it and it was perfect, absolutely perfect. He said, no, that's it, it's perfect, don't need to do it again, don't need to alter it, absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'm in the Book of Addiscombe and my father is too. But yeah, here's the water. We've only got the 4 bottles, they'll go into the bottom of the cargo buggy. You can see if I can get out now, because I've harvested some fruit as well while I'm here. Ugh. Oh dear. But this is pretty much ancestral home, Addiscombe, Woodside and Shirley Allotments. Oh. Oh dear. Shove these in. And when I was very young, my father, he used to have a noble cadet, a C Series 1979 Opel Kadett, sapphire blue saloon, full leather, perforated leather interiors, rear heated windows, Opel Kadett Special. And that was a lovely car, it really was. I really miss that car. Of all the cars my father had, that's the one I remember the most. And I remember years ago there used to be a metal pole here, or like a gate. It's not here now, but there was a tubular pole barrier here. No, actually it was a bit further than that. It was about here. And my father would park his Opel Kadett Special in the gap right here, and also in the car park, probably over there or here, trying to home in on the shade, or where the shade would be at the end of the day when it came to going home. But I remember that the car, it used to get so hot. These Opel Kadett used to get so hot in the summer, and this was in the 80s and the early 90s. We literally would get back to the car at the end of the day, me, mum and dad. We'd open the doors and it'd be like a fucking furnace in there. It really would be. It'd be like a furnace in there. And we'd literally have to leave all the doors open just to cool it down. And if you sat on the leather seats, you'd be burning your ass. One of them faux orange air fresheners hanging from the mirror, the one that made you feel sick. And we had no idea at the time that it was them faux orange air fresheners that made you sick. We thought it was static electricity that was making me ill. But apparently it was a common thing with a load of Gen X and Xennial kids when they were growing up. These faux orange air fresheners were making kids sick, and we didn't really notice. We didn't know until people started reminiscing about it online. But yeah, I remember the one time we spent all day at the allotment. We came back to the car. I got in the front, Mum was in the back, and we looked at the dashboard, and there's one of them little temperature gauges, the one with more like a clock arm, and it had the increments on it, and it got so fucking hot in the car that it literally melted the clear plastic top to this thermometer. It was unbelievable. It literally melted the plastic. Right, and here we are. What have we got today? Well, we've got Victoria plums. We've got some damson plums that fell off another tree onto the path. We've got Mirabelle plum. We've got some blackberries, and underneath we've got a load of apples. There's a couple of red love, or whatever you want to call them, mainly discovery, a couple of green ones. So yeah, I've got loads of fruit here. Some of it will be going to Linda, but yeah, I could reminisce about this place all the time, really. The times I walked up and down the stream, the brook. I suppose we could take a look at a little bit more of it. I even used to be able to fit through the 2 tunnels underneath this bridge. I don't know about now. You can see the flow, there's quite a bit of flow. As to how much, like I said, there's a bit of a drought. We've not had the rain. I don't think there's as much as, I mean, it's not far behind Caesar's Well, Keston. I think it's very close to that amount. Maybe just a little bit less, but not by much. There's an orchard. It was originally an allotment, and then they took over the allotment just to make it an orchard and an open space for people to sit outside the canteen, basically. The canteen is here. Back in the day when I could actually get out of fucking bed early enough, I would come here to the allotment and then an alarm would go off and that would be the canteen opening, like a siren. We've got this Cedarus atlantica glauca here, and this tree was planted in 1953, Jubilee tree. There is still a siren on it, but I don't know if they still use it. They used to. Whether it's the original one, I don't think so. But there is, I don't think that's the original one. But that's the canteen where we go to get a tea or a coffee or a sausage sandwich or something. Very overgrown at the back here. But you can see it does get culverted occasionally. It is bricked either side. And the site office. The trading hut and compost storage is over there. There used to be a skip here, but they moved. They're dumping the skip somewhere else. This is another section of the culverted Chaffinch behind the canteen and office. I don't know if you can even see the water, to be honest. I do actually wonder how much water there is here compared to Keston. Must be about the same or just a little bit less. Now we're walking down to the clubhouse. Now in the 80s, early 90s, I used to spend a lot of time at the clubhouse. We used to have bingo nights here and shellfish evenings. The shellfish evenings were fantastic. Back in the 80s, they had everything. Smoked mackerel, shrimps, prawns, whelks, cockles, winkles. They had everything. So this is the Chaffinch Brook, and then it disappears again through. There is a ditch here. I think there may be a spring in the corner of the site. I think I've seen it on maps, but it's not a very big one. It may even have dried out, but it's supposed to be springs in the other corner of the allotments near the bees and the honey spinning hut. And this is the bridge at the clubhouse, and then it goes under this bridge and then towards Glenthorne Avenue. No, it's not as much as Keston, I don't think. So this is the clubhouse that I used to spend so much time in, and there's a fox, and he's gone already. He didn't hang about, did he? Yeah, and this is the clubhouse. And we've had all the shows here as well. Allotment shows. I did used to love the shellfish evenings though, and the bingo. They've done a lot of work here. Habitat piles. this is a lot different as well, because all this was an open field, and I did used to keep a couple of ponies at one point, up until the 90s, I think. But this is basically all meadow and turning into secondary woodland now, and there's a pond over there as well. But yeah, the volunteers are doing a pretty good job, apart from all this green alka net that needs to go. And this is the site of probably where one of the last videos I've done of the allotment, and I still had the gold Samsung S8. Remember here, I was with another guy. We'd had a lot of rain, and the water had come right up. I think this is about 2012, and there's me and the other man, I think he was gay, and we were literally trying to unblock this section because of all the water, because if it blocked up here, it will end up overflowing, and there's a private hospital over there. I don't think we've ever had a problem with the private hospital flooding, maybe once years ago, but this is the Glenthorne Avenue end, and from here basically it goes under the end of Glenthorne Avenue and disappears underneath Ashburton playing fields. And then from Ashburton playing fields it goes down the back of Long Lane Wood, and then across a few houses, across an allotment. Or maybe that isn't the Chaffinch, because I think it goes underneath the Elmer's End Tesco. It's hard to tell where the Chaffinch is, but I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't go anywhere near the fucking country park. I know that much. So if you're testing Chaffinch Brook water at the country park in a flipping storm ditch that's dry most of the year, you're making a big mistake. That is not the Chaffinch Brook. And I noticed when I went to the country park, there was a portal there, bridge over the Chaffinch Brook. It's gone. Invalid portal, they took it away. So someone has noticed that no, that is not the Chaffinch Brook at the south end of the country park. It's piped up somewhere where you can't see it. So this is where it disappears and goes under Ashburton playing fields. I haven't been to the Poppy Lane end. Right, I'm gonna take a look at this pond. It's probably full of flipping duckweed, hence it's probably dead. But when they first created a pond, it was quite nice, and there'll be lots of butterflies and lots of insects around here. I think we do have a memorial garden as well. And I think we've got a hosepipe ban now. So this is the state of the pond at the moment. Very lacking in water, a bit grassy, and full of duckweed. It was an absolute nightmare getting the duckweed out of my tiny little pond on my allotment. I literally had to pick it out one piece at a time, keep looking at it week after week, keep picking out these individual pieces of duckweed. I've done it in the end. Absolute nightmare. But this pond, in the beginning it had Jenkins snails in, common newts and other stuff, but with that duckweed there, nah, not now. Well, they probably are under there, but the habitat's not going to be as good, and it's a bit dry. But there's going to be a shit ton of insects here. And this all used to be an open meadow, and we had a couple of ponies. We also used to watch fireworks here in the 80s as well. They'd organised firework displays here. There's a meadow brown butterfly, and I remember that, what was his name? Chris Church. he'd be setting off the fireworks, and it got to a point where we had to knock it on the head because he was pissed while doing it. And the fireworks were literally falling over and firing at the crowd, because I don't know, maybe it wasn't his fault, but it didn't always go to plan. This is supposed to be a memorial garden, I think, but it's mainly a meadow for insects, to be honest. Anemometer there. Looks like an anemometer. Wonder if it actually works. And years ago, all along this side, when there used to be an original entrance here, there used to be a tarmac entrance to the allotment, but it was very rarely used. It joined up with Oaks End, and there used to be a asphalt road here. And all along the edge of it, there are a load of railway benches, a load of Southern Railway benches. And the story is they all came from East Croydon Station many years ago. They're all gone now. Since I've grown up, I literally watched them just rot and rot and rot and rot away. All the slats just rotting away until there was nothing left of them. Some kind of totem pole here. Or was it Jay? He's gone. Yeah, some kind of totem pole here. Like I said, there used to be. Oh no, it still is there. I'm at the wrong side of the hedge. Yeah, but there's none of these railway benches. Oh, there's a couple. There's no point going the other end, but you can see there's a ditch here. This ditch carries on along the back, and it goes all the way to the clubhouse end of the bridge where the brook is. So that's where this ditch joins up. Oh, these plums, these are like the kind of plums that I'd found on the country park. And there is a gate here. I suppose we could take a look at the gate. I wonder if the bee corner is still here. I'd like to think it was. But this was, look, there's sloe berries. Put that in your bottle of gin. Turn it into biofuel. But apparently there is a spring somewhere around here. There we go, look. This is one of the old entrances. Not used for many years. It was the other side of the hedge, look, and this goes all the way down to the clubhouse. Here's the bees. And a red admiral butterfly. So we still have bees here. Red admiral sitting on top of the hive and lifting off again. He's still about. And there's a honey spinning building there. Take a look at these last two railway benches. Oh, fuck me, that slowberry. Oh. Also got a lot of old oak trees at the allotment as well, following the brook. Look at this oak tree. It's got to be at least 300 years old. We've got quite a few on the site. There's one over there. There's one over there. There's probably a couple old oak trees. They may have been planted, or they're actually part of the Great North Wood. And here we are. These have been cut, but they are they? Yeah. They look like they've been cut. Or maybe they haven't. Not sure, but apparently these were railway benches from East Croydon station originally. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. So we've only got 2 of them now. There used to be literally lines of them, literally all lined across here. Loads of them. Must have been about 12 to 15. And now at the other side of the clubhouse, where we pay our rents basically in October. And then when we had our firework displays, we'd literally be standing in this area watching the fireworks. We had a bar in there, we had a clubhouse, you could get a drink as well. And that's where I, family-wise, traditionally I started drinking Klaushaler, the German alcohol-free beer. Klaushaler. Alles, was ein Bier braucht. Yes. So we've had a little bit of a walk at the allotments. I've not done a video of the allotments really. The Chaffinch Brook. I didn't go from the bridge the other end to Poppy Lane. It's just too complicated, too messy. It's at the back of allotments, but we've had a little look around and I've reminisced a little bit. Yeah, I used to love coming here. With one of the few good memories I have of especially my father, my parents, the father. We used to come down here to the fish evenings and bingo and have a drink. It was lovely. It really was lovely at the allotment, but it got to the point where there were volunteers and they just didn't want to waste their time. They wanted to be paid for working behind the bar, and it was just not happening. Volunteers. So eventually, sometime in the 90s, or I don't know when, the clubhouse stopped in the 90s, 2000s. I don't know if they got any beer in there. I don't think they have. I think it's just tea and coffee making stuff. But we've already got a kitchen, so it'd be lovely if I could have a bar here again. It really would. It was good times at the Flower Pot Club, as we call it. We call it the Flower Pot Club. Yeah, there's another Cedarus Atlantica glauca here as well, another blue cedar. Pretty much the same size as the other one. And I think that is about it. I'm going to make my way out of here. But that's the Flower Pot Club. I spent quite a bit of time here when I was a child, kid and teenager. Very nice. Always used to avoid the whelks. We had big gastropods called whelks. You could eat them. I didn't eat them. And I didn't even touch the winkles either. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a preference as a common butterfly there. But later, I ended up going to Filey Brig, East Yorkshire, with the ex-girlfriend 2016, and I collected a load of winkles and maybe a few mussels. And it was a bit sad really, because you had these little black sea snails they'd emerge with their black diddly bops, and then I ended up cooking them up, and they were lovely. They were really lovely, a lot of fishy chicken. But I always used to avoid them, which was a bit weird. bread with butter on and vinegar and really good stuff. I think the shrimps came from Bexhill, that's what I was told. Another place that I've got a big link to, Bexhill. But yeah, another fucks. I don't think we can get any closer than that. Woo, woo, woo! What did the fox say? Nothing, apparently. Right, and that's me done. Hope you enjoyed it. Impromptu video. I started here at the Chaffinch Brook getting a little bit of water. I've got some fruit that I'll be taking with me, and I had a little bit of a walk around towards the clubhouse and beyond. Alright, thanks for joining me. Give us a thumb up if you like. It's a bit different today. I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, God blimey, that sun.